Have you ever stared in the mirror and wondered what you would be without your memories? Could you function meaningfully in society? Would you have a strong sense of self? Just as our memories are integral to forging our identity, history is the collective memory of a people, nations, and families. Without history, we would lose our shared experiences, rendering us adrift in a sea of meaninglessness. We would wander aimlessly, repeat the same mistakes, constantly reinvent the proverbial wheel, and never progress. But why should we invest our time in studying history? In short, history shows us what it means to be human. History is not merely a collection of dates and events. It is a tapestry woven with human stories. Stories with characters, heroes and villains, real-world dramas, a real reality TV show. It reveals the essence of who we are, where we came from, the world we inhabit, how we have evolved as a society, and why we do the things we do, our customs and traditions. When we study history, we are really studying the person looking back in that proverbial mirror. Through the reflection of those who face similar challenges, we can gain insights into our own potential. History showcases our individual and collective capacity to be heroes or villains, innovators or imitators, givers or takers. Knowing history shows us what it means to be human, and the potential within each of us to be a Hitler or a Lincoln, a Henry Ford or a Charles Ponzi. Our story begins at the crossroads of time, where ancient civilizations rose and fell, leaving behind echoes of their triumphs and tragedies. History is the key that unlocks the secrets of our ancestors, illuminating the path that has led us to the present. It provides us with invaluable insights into the choices and decisions made by those who came before us. More than 300,000 years ago, our Homo sapien ancestors, the species to which all modern human beings belong, emerged in the cradle of civilization, Mother Africa. It was there that fertile soil, the story of humanity began, and with it, history itself. Why? Because history transcends a mere selection of objective facts, but is the collective stories, narratives that we tell ourselves. Stories that give meaning to our past and present.
Ask a historian, what was mankind's greatest invention? Fire, the wheel, the sword? I would argue it's history itself. History isn't fact, it's narrative. One carefully curated and shaped. Under the pen strokes of the right scribe, a villain becomes a hero. A lie becomes the truth.
But history is never just a record of the past. It is crucial to acknowledge that in the wrong hands, it's a lethal weapon, a true weapon of mass destruction. Why? Because it exploits time itself. Biased narratives can be crafted to suit political agendas, undermining truth and distorting our perceptions of the past. As George Orwell cautioned in his seminal work 1984, those who control the present can manipulate the past and shape the future. Orwell reminds us to be careful of those who write and control the history books because they can control how we see the past itself. They who control the history that we learn wield immense power. When history is lost, erased, or distorted, people become ignorant of their true potential. It is no coincidence that the slave master sought to strip slaves of their names and history.
His methods were very simple, but they were diabolical. Keep the slave physically strong, but psychologically weak and dependent on the slave master. Keep the body, take the mind.
Because by severing their connection to their roots, manipulating and controlling the narrative, they can erase their past and cultivate a dependent slave mentality. Kunta Kinte becomes Toby.
I want to hear you say it. Your name is Toby. You're going to learn to say your name. Let me hear you say it. What's your name?
Kunta Kinte.
Why? Because when you strip a person of their name, of their history, of their culture, of the greatness that lies within their very DNA, that in their blood are kings and queens, artists and doctors, inventors and scholars, saints, and yes, even villains. History is not confined to dusty books and silent archives. It lives literally within us, shaping our identities and informing our choices. The great social thinker, George Santayana, reminds us that those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. The past, while similar, is not exactly the same. Renowned historian Arnold Toynbee cautions that history is not merely cause and effect, but rather should be seen through the lens of challenge and response. Every event is a unique challenge, no matter how similar to the past, and thus our response must also be unique. Mark Twain put it succinctly when he said, "History does not repeat itself, but it often rhymes." And a beautiful corollary to that comes from the Greek thinker Heraclitus, who poignantly quipped that it is not possible to step twice in the same river. Why? Because just as a river constantly changes, so do events and circumstances. In conclusion, history only serves as a guide, enabling us to make informed decisions based on past experiences. It is instructive and instrumental in guiding our decisions. So why study history? Because it provides us with an understanding of our identity, empowers us to challenge biased narratives, expands our brain's capacity to think critically, and offers timeless lessons that shape our choices. History is not just a subject of the past, it is the compass for the future. By studying history, we ensure that the triumphs and tragedies of the past echo through time, guiding us towards a more enlightened and compassionate world. Join us in this captivating journey through time. Subscribe to our channel, Joy of History, for more enlightening content, and don't forget to share your thoughts and comments below.